You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hi, Young and the Restless fans. Well, we are still a week away from February sweeps, and we've got Jordan Howard deciding to off herself and Sharon Newman getting her drugged up self out of that sewer. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and while this seems like a whole lot of closure this week, I kind of doubt it's all wrapped up in a bow quite so easily. And hey, if you're not subscribed, please click that button. Now let's get into it. So we have heard Claire Newman saying Aunt Jordan needs to die. Victoria Newman's been on the fence about it because, you know, she's just not a murdery kind of gal. But Grandma Nikki Newman is on board with eradicating Jordan from existence because she knows good and well there's no prison that can hold the woman. She always gets loose. Nikki knows Jordan is like a cockroach that would survive a nuclear war. So Claire lured her Aunt Jordan in this week with a promise of helping her murder her mom for money so they can skip out of Genoa City and have their happily ever after together. Just Claire and her awful auntie. And she completely sold Jordan on it. But when Claire got Jordan to the tack house on the ranch property and served her up some tea, things took a twist. Claire had questions about who killed Heather, what Ian did, and most importantly, where was Sharon? And when Jordan wasn't spilling enough tea and instead went to sip the tea, Claire kind of freaked and stopped her. So it seems like it might have been poisoned. And remember, Nikki was just saying she really regretted saving Jordan the last time she guzzled some poison. That was almost a year ago, March 2024. If you don't remember, they were in that creepy soundproof room cell thing, not the one in Victor's basement, but the other one that Jordan had set up to keep Victor and Nikki, I think, in there. And she swigged some poison from a bottle that she had stashed there. And she told Nikki that it was the same poison she had Claire dose the water bottles with that almost killed Victoria, Cole, Victor, and Nick at that house of horrors at the lake. But this version of it was 3 times stronger. And when Jordan was faced with captivity for life or death last year, she chose the toxin. And that's what happens again this week. But before she guzzles down the bad stuff, she tried to bargain with Victor. Hiding Sharon was her insurance policy against Ian Ward and the Newmans. Jordan demanded money and a clean getaway, like she's done in the past, and said, "You do that, I'll tell you where Sharon is." But while all this toxic tea drama was happening, there was action down in the stinky sewer as well. Sharon already broke her chain, but she kept passing out from the drugged water that Jordan left her. Thankfully, hallucination Nick likes to play hero just like real life Nick. He told Sharon, "Get up, get yourself out of this sewer. Do it for your kids. Go, 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 go." So meanwhile, Victor and Claire bargaining with Jordan, who tells them and Nikki and Nick and Victoria that Sharon's time is running out. And when Victor threatens Jordan's life, she gets smug and says if he kills her, Sharon will also die because she's the only one who knows where she is. Meanwhile, back in the sewer, Sharon's dragging herself along through the muck, and over at Society, Ian approaches Tessa, does this whole performative thing about being a changed man and wanting to earn Mariah's forgiveness. And OMG, Ian is the king of manipulation and gaslighting because he has got Tessa actually believing what he is saying. She should know better. And then when Mariah sees him there, she blew up, said there is no forgiveness, and said she wished he would just die, just drop dead. And then he tries to act all pitiful. And then when Tessa suggested maybe he really has changed, Mariah blew up and stormed out. Lucky for everybody, she stormed over to the park just as Sharon was shuffling out of the mucky sewer. So Mariah's stunned to see Sharon alive. Little worse for wear, but alive. So after Nick hears from Mariah that Sharon is in her arms and okay, Jordan knows her time is up, and she grabs up the mug of tea and gulps it all down in one go. She would rather be pushing up daisies than back in prison. Claire and the other Newmans watch, and Jordan definitely thinks she's beaten them because they won't take her alive, you know? She's all in on yet another toxic suicide attempt. but I have to wonder, is that tea really poisoned? We'll find out on Friday's episode, but I kind of doubt it. Maybe Claire put some sleeping pills in there, something to incapacitate and sedate her aunt. You know, maybe she planned to toss Jordan over the bridge where she dumped Heather's body, or bury her alive, throw her into traffic. Who knows? You know, Claire is definitely a Newman, and I bet Victor would approve of whatever murderous thing she might have planned. But I just think the tea was a bit too obvious, so I really doubt it's poisoned. Claire knows how her aunt thinks, and I think she stopped her to trick her into thinking it was toxic. So what I'm hoping is that Jordan's been basically roofied, but thinks she's dying, because then they might get some sort of deathbed confession that's all encompassing about all her dirty deeds with Ian, because she is still holding back on some stuff. And then, you know, she conks out and Jordan thinks she's going to hell for a long overdue date with the devil. And I really hope she wakes up in a cell and not a jail cell. I said this before about Victor and the brand new ranch house. I hope he builds another cell into it. Think about this. We all remember the last time he held Jordan captive, May 2024, when Victor was tormenting her with a steady diet of Brussels sprouts and vodka. And there was talk back then that Victor had her in the same cell where he held his first wife, Julie's lover prisoner. But you know what? It wasn't the same cell, and here's why. The house he lived in with Julie was the one he bought from Kay Chancellor back in 1980, and that's the house where the cell was down in the wine cellar where he kept Michael Scott prisoner. Sharon burned that house down in 2012 during a bipolar spiral, and if my architectural history is correct, the year after that, in 2013, Nikki and Victor moved into a new house he'd built on the property. That's the house where he had Jordan down in the basement, the house he has now given to Adam. So yeah, Victor had another cell built into the house at some point, you know, maybe during the original construction before they moved in 2013, or had it added later, but he had that cell dismantled after Cole and Michael busted him holding Jordan. So house 1 had a cell, house 2 had a cell. And then last year, Victor revealed he'd built this all new ranch house like the original one where Nick and Victoria grew up, and where, you know, he's moved in with Nikki since opening it to replace the one Sharon burned. So here's the question. Did Victor do what he did before and had another cell built below the brand new ranch house? I mean, he did like having a cell so much that he installed one the last time he built a house. And I hope like heck that Jordan wakes up in a cell below the new house, and that Claire and Victor are the only ones that know she is there. Imagine all the grandpa and granddaughter bonding time they could have tormenting Jordan while the rest of the family is oblivious to what they're doing. We'll see, but I suspect the tea that Claire made wasn't deadly, and Jordan's suicide attempt is fruitless. As for Sharon, she's in very bad shape. She needs to get to the hospital. But I also worry that Ian is not done with her, because Mariah continues to reject him. If Jordan's locked down before sweeps begins next Thursday, January 30th, it could be an all Ian show for sweeps as he plays out his endgame, and I cannot wait.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.